Vito and Helmut. Just thought I'd let you know what progress we've made on your engine. Here's your engine number: 121 921 10 016 125. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, I think you can see that. Okay. Use the tripod for a little bit and show you what we got so far. Well, this engine's been sitting around for a long time because we got some pistons that are seriously stuck. This one here we got soaking, and all I'm doing is making a mess anyway. Gonna get that juice out of there, trying to loosen it up, and then we'll beat the heck out of that piston. And that piston will not survive, but that's okay. We're getting new ones anyway because we got quite a ridge in there. Get the tripod set up here. Show you what else we got playing with. This was a very high mileage engine, and you can tell that by the pistons that came out. Okay, there we go. Alright, first things first, pistons. See if you can see that. Anyway, we're looking at it right here. It's very hard to see, but it says 86.47, and I got my reading glasses out just to double check on that. Yep, it's an 86.47. Actually, that means it's you round it off. It's 86.5. That is the final oversize on pistons. This engine has been bored out to where it's had the three different sets of pistons. Standard is 85 millimeter, then you have 85.5, 86, and then final is 86.5. They don't make any pistons bigger than this for this engine. So, going to see about custom pistons or sleeving it and getting factory pistons. Now then, in terms of the crankshaft has seen better days. It's had a lot of trash going through it here. That's all these streaks that you see here. All these streaks. It's all trash that's gone through there. And we are on, here's a rod bearing. Let's see if you can see that. It says, we're looking right here. It says 0.5 undersize, 0.5. And where I put my main bearing right here, and the main bearing says the same thing, 0.5 undersize. So we're gonna get the crank ground to the third undersize, which is not a problem. This is basically a diesel crankshaft and lower end, so we got plenty of meat. That's not a problem. Obviously, we're going to get all new, and what's also get all new timing chain and all the other related parts. Now, what's also interesting is you can see this is your thrust that carries the load when the crankshaft moves back and forth, and it physically moves back and forth. This thing, the whole crankshaft will move back and forth, believe it or not, about the thickness of 2 to 3 to 4 human hairs. And what it bumps up against is this thrust washer right here, and this thrust washer has done its job. It used to have Babbitt silver tin looking material on the edge here, and it's worn off, so it's done its job. And you can also see in here how the main bearings look very, very discolored from sitting around for a long time, but also a lot of trash has gone through. They've been well used, so got your use out of it. You can see how it's deteriorated right here. This is getting into the substrate. Lots of pitting. Anyway, that's just normal activity. This one's even more beaten up, chewed up. It's a combination of trash. This is where the oil hole is, so the trash comes out of it first and gets spun around. And all this right here, this discoloration, is what happens when the bearings, when the engine sits around for a long time and the acids in the oil eat into the bearing material. All this is a fairly common wear. Let's see, check out the cylinder head. Cylinder head. Let's see, I'm gonna take the camera off the stand. Okay. Now we're going to read the head. And what we're looking for, first of all, let's look to see what it's supposed to look like. What we are supposed to see is this bright, shiny rim, which is where the fire ring on the head gasket sat. And that fire ring is made out of copper, typically. Some are steel. Anyway, that is what keeps the combustion explosions in and not from escaping out. So that ring has got to be solid and hold in those the forces from combustion. And when it doesn't do that, and the byproducts of combustion start escaping, you get discoloration. And here we go, discoloration. You can see how we start. We have shiny, some shiny here. Get this in focus here. Got some shiny here. Not as shiny as over here, not as pretty and well defined as over here. And so we have a little bit shiny, shiny, and then it gets dark, dark, and then boom. It's all black over there. And let's see if I can get it to where it doesn't glare on you. Okay, all dark over here, and that's a weak part of this cylinder head. You've got a water port, water galley, right in the center of the cylinder head, and you have very little material on either side of it. Very little supporting material, very thin across here. And this is also the center of the cylinder head, which is where, when these things get hot, and this is in normal service, when it gets hot, this thing wants to lift in the center. So you've got the cylinder head wanting to physically lift away from the block at this exact point where you've got very little material to hold the water in and the gases in. And so what you have here is leakage. So you can see obviously we've got rust here from the water leaks, but you've also had head gasket leaking in terms of combustion leaking across here. Both cylinders were leaking. This one was leaking the most because it's just absolutely black. I'm trying to get to where you don't see the glare. And then we get over here, now you can go back to seeing the nice shiny. And as we get further away from the center, we get our nice shiny fire ring. And we got what looks like normal combustion. We've got carbon buildup. Carbon here, but you notice how clean it is here. There's no carbon on here because we've had water getting in here, and when the water gets in and is pressurized, and then the gasoline explodes, well, that water turns to steam, and you've been steam cleaning the inside of the engine. So that's why this is clean looking here. And see, there's no carbon here, a little bit here, but nothing compared to over here. So we'll have to measure the cylinder head. Hopefully it's still correct thickness and isn't too warped. Trying to think what else we need to mention immediately. Well, don't know. We'll get the engine crankshaft turned, get the engine, the internal rotating parts balanced, the crankshaft, all the rotating assembly from the front counterweight all the way back to the flywheel. and the pressure plate. Get that balanced. The rods will get new rod bushings, and the rods will be balanced as well. And then we're going to see what we can do on pistons. So that's going to be the deciding factor here, what we can do for pistons. See how the camshaft looks. Surprisingly enough, camshaft looks pretty good. A little bit of got some scoring down here where the trash was going through there, but that's not going to be a problem for our purposes. Won't be a problem. Okay, I think that's it for right now. Anyway, just want to give you an update, and thank you for your patience.